This very special episode of Starbase 80's Disco Nights comes with the same old warning if you haven't seen the final episode of Star Trek Discovery, and that's not even of the season, it's of the series. The very final episode aired this week. It is technically episode number 10. And it is also really worth talking about. So obviously we're going to be doing that. But it is nothing but spoilers, my friends. Nothing but spoilers is going to happen on this show. So if you haven't seen Life Itself, the final Star Trek Discovery episode, by all means, drop what you're doing right now, unless you're watching us on your phone or your tablet. Don't drop those. Or your pad with 2 Ds. Don't drop those. But there you go. I think you've got the message. It's a spoiler alert. And it's time for us to begin the show. Starbase 80's Disco Nights. Starbase 80's Disco Nights. Okay. Very bittersweet, I have to admit. I really I gotta admit, one reason why it's so bittersweet is because I love so much working with this man who is my co-producer and my co-host and first officer on SB-80 and first, I'm sure, in your hearts. Say hello, won't you please, to our good friend Joe Townsell, commander of SB-80. Mr. Townsell, thank you for reporting for duty.
Mr. Weber, thank you for having me for duty. And wow, first in your hearts, that touches mine. Thank you for that too.
It's funny because I always figure when it's me working with somebody else, I'm usually good cop and they're usually bad cop. But seriously, when it comes to Joe Townsell, I'm good cop. He's gooder cop. He's goodest cop. Our friend Craig Robinson is with us. Hello, Craig. Welcome back, Mr. Robinson. Please take your place at the con.
Yes, and thanks for signing on for the graveyard shift once again, Craig. We know what the hour's like there for you there. Way over the pond, they say.
It shows great character, and you, sir, are going to go far in the fleet.
Absolutely.
We have got one heck of a show because Star Trek Discovery could not just end quietly. It couldn't end with just a 50-minute episode. No. It had to end with a big bonus-sized episode. And I don't know. We got some feelings about this, Joe. You and I haven't talked about it in any kind of depth because we were saving it for now, for being on air. But yeah, we got some feelings about this one, if I may suggest.
Well, talk about spoilers, John. No. No, we definitely have some feelings about it. There's no way you're going to get a complex, all-encompassing series finale like this and not have a mixed bag of some degree. So there's lots of good, some not so good, lots of gooder, as John puts it. We're going to touch on all of it.
It's time for the beats.
It is.
Let's go through the beats of the show as we do here on SB-80. And Mr. Townsell, would you please give us your report of the beats of this episode, Life Itself?
Absolutely, Captain. Well, this turned out to be a supersized episode, so we got more beats than usual. I hope that you enjoyed them all. Here we go. Now, back in the day, AC/DC was back in black, but this week we're back to black in the form of Los Dos Black Holes, that is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the puzzling and perplexing portal, alliteration alert, is tumbling along with Burnham and Mole inside, as well as a couple of beaten-up Breen. So the Breen Death Star has launched a whole lot of TIE fighters. Well, not exactly. The Dreadnought has belched out a bunch of Breen fighters, and they're ready to swarm all over the disco. Now, Primarch Tahal is hell-bent in her quest to take over as the primary Primarch. This is the season, a series finale after all. So the ticking of the clock winding down is deafening.
Yes.
Now, how about that there portal anyway, John? Lots of fluorescent light tubes and CGI whiz-bang going on. Now, Michael is suddenly a contestant on the Ultimate Edition of Let's Make a Deal. Door number 1, door number 2, number 3, or how about door number 100 billion? Got lots to choose from. Let's pop in and out of a few of those doors, John. What do you say?
I would love that. And
Okay,
also,
wonderful.
I want to consider what Jay has in that box.
Yes, of course.
Very old. Let's Make a Deal reference.
Well, you know what? We're very old guys, so that's appropriate. Let's put it that way, and loving it.
And loving it.
Of course. Well, Michael's catapulted into a hostile world. Weather forecast today, windy and desolate. Worse yet, there's a pissed off Breen ready to pounce. His helmet is dented, having been in a fender bender, and he's just a little peeved as a result. The angry Breen has had a belly full of this progenitor tech BS already. Now, Burnham beats some Breen butt, so Maul decides to make her appearance. Not surprisingly, our favorite blonde former courier and widow of Locke cops an attitude with Mikey.
Yep.
She has a weapon that will produce a hell of a bang, so she feels free to talk some smack. Also, Maul is bleeding like a stuck pig. Now, Mike offers the loan of a dermal regenerator. Should Maul trust Mikey? Oh, what a dilemma. Okay, why not? But the truce is short-lived. Of course it is. We're reminded that Maul will oversee her doofus Breen subordinates to use the tech to resurrect her beloved Locke. Ergo, she has no use for the good old Federation. Why should she listen to Mikey now?
Right.
Remember a few episodes back, Michael and Raynor saw the bleak future in which the Breen laid waste to the feds. Now, Mikey ain't about to let that bad future unfurl, so it's time for a little bit of a takedown of Maul, so much for the truce. We're going to see that go in and out a few times, before we're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went back and forth a bit, but that's all right. That's
a little back and forth. Now, Mike and Maul, they are in and out of adjacent portals, tumbling and bumbling off the walls, doing lots of martial arts stuff, doing their best, flying through the air, doing Super Mario Brothers impressions, all that stuff, all in slow motion. Cool. All right, we're loving it. This is where the CGI budget went this episode, gang, if you didn't figure that out.
Yeah. They spent every last cent they had, which I respect.
It's absolutely. And they're going out. Let's go out with a bang. Now, as much fun as it is swapping punches and drop kicks, Michael decides it's time to appeal to Maul on an emotional level. If anyone can bring your Breen hubby back from the dead, the Federation, they just might be able to. Yeah, Maul agrees to stand down and work with Mikey. For now, she has Locke bouncing around in her portal transporter buffer, ready to revive him at any time. So the new dynamic duo heads into the progenitor tech tunnel. Is there a light at the end of that particular tunnel? We shall see. Now, back on Disco, Raynor has to admit he's not a multitasker. He can't retrieve the portal and fight off the Breen all at the same time. Well, no problemo, says Book. Give me a reason to be in this episode. Give me a shuttle. They've had to do that for Book a little bit. That's okay. We'd always like to, seeing Book.
Yeah.
We had to kind of shoehorn him in a few times. That works for the most part.
That's all right. That's all
it's
right.
Okay. It's okay. And of course, Raynor says, "Okie dokie, off you go." Watch out for that black hole radiation. Again, no problemo. I'll take Doc Cobra along, giving him a reason to be in this episode as well.
Yeah.
So off they go into the wild Breen yonder. As far as Breen puns go, that was by far the worst. I'll try to make them better for the duration. Bear with me. Now, Tilly puts on her thinking cap, concocting a use for nearby plasma clouds. Now, she has a reason to be in the episode, too. Where am I? Oh, here we
Folks, a lot of beats to this one.
A lot of beats.
You got to really take it easy on Commander Townsend. A lot of beats.
The last time I beat this much, I had my last issue of Playboy. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
How dare you, sir? How dare you be so funny on this show?
Oh,
Yeah.
I dare, and I try to live up to the dare. Thank you,
Yes,
John.
you do.
Okay, now hey, we got to remember Federation HQ, right? They still need to stop a whole new batch of Breen from reaching their space. So Saru and Nan are off, and not see the wizard. No, sir. They will confront Primac Tahal with a dinky unarmed shuttle. Smart move, it seems. Time out for some tried and true action Saru cowboy diplomacy. Hey, Tahal, how about we open up a trade route through the Latar Nebula? This will give you a huge advantage over the other Primarchs, not to mention great bragging rights. Tahal tells Sue to stuff his trade route where the sun don't shine. So Saru stays cool as a cucumber, and even looks a little like one now that I take a good look. No offense, Saru, sorry. Tahal tells Saru to book it in half a minute or suffer that wrath. Yeah. You act tough, Tahal, but you just got another brain green baby. Now, us Kelpians, we're badass predators, and you're on my prey list, my pretty. Had to know if Tahal is actually cute because, you know, that darn Battlestar Galactica Cylon brain bucket hides whatever cute face she may have. So Saru puts it on the line. Pass up this offer, and you can forget becoming the numero uno Primac. Well, you're bluffing, Saru. You ain't seen nothing, Tahal. We should play a few hands of poker sometime, or maybe some Ferengi rummy. Look into my Kelpian peepers, Tahal. You see any self-doubt? You see any fear? Tahal Kate's a good gander. She sees none of those things.
Yeah.
So I'm starting kind of wondering, I don't know about this guy. This Kelpie might be pretty badass. So, you know what? Nana's pretty impressed by this bravado. She's kind of wondering if Saru might be interested in a little pre-wedding fling. Just kidding. There's no tension there. I don't think.
I don't think she's going to misbehave at the hen party. I don't think so.
We don't think.
We don't know.
So, of course, this brings us to a dreaded Joe Townsend musical cue as we are back to the portal again.
Oh, yeah.
Back where Mikey and Maul are good friends. Now, Michael's getting frustrated with all these tunnels. Time to think like a progenitor. So how many Star Trek wrap-up shows do you know, John, that have musical cues for both Gene Autry and the Bangles? Not many,
None.
I guess.
None.
Okay.
I'm gonna say zero.
I think you're right.
We
Okay.
are the lucky ones.
Now, next, the ladies find themselves in a weird field of mutant chrysanthemums or some such.
Yeah.
Why the whole place is the tech. They're standing on it. So, of course, this puts a whole new spin on things. And hey, what's up with this big pile of rocks? Oh, it's a monument to one of the 24th century scientists. He bought the farm trying to use the tech. So hopefully Mike will have better luck. Oh, looky. Here's a flimsy table with some plastic triangles on it. Must have blown the props budget on earlier episodes or used all the money on CGI because this looks pretty cheesy, but okay. It looks like one of those sleek stock pylons, you know.
Oh,
little gym table, you know.
Yeah.
So they probably just got it from the storage room over there at Land of the Lost. So, okay, so Michael remembers that puzzling one between mini clue. Arrange the triangles correctly. The progenitor tech will be as easy as programming your VCR. Now that's a reference, isn't it? Hark! What light through yonder window breaks? It is Book who has made contact with his lady love. Maul takes this opportunity to bonk Mikey on the head. Rewatch TOS's Mirror if you don't get that joke. The Captain is out like a light. So, despite Mikey telling Maul specifically not to arrange the triangles on the table a certain way, she goes ahead and does it just that way anyhow. So, as a result, the portal gets pissed and decides to tase Maul for a really long time. At least 2 commercial breaks, I think. It's time to put Tilly's plan into action to ignite the plasma to blow the Breen fighters to smithereens. Before things go kablooey, you better snag that portal book. Fiddlesticks, can't get a tractor beam lock. Well, the light shines brightly, and the angels sing as Cobra finally has his major epiphany, what we've been leading up to for the last several episodes. I guess. Is this all that I am? Is there nothing more? No, not that revelation, Cobra. That was Spock's. No, Doctor, your personal journey has brought you here and now for one special plot-driven purpose. You need to magically pull the correct tractor beam code out of thin air and give it to Book. Okay. Well, fortunately, the code works. It would have been pretty anticlimactic if not. They get a grip on the portal, and so they haul butt out of there before all hell is going to break loose. Oh, Michael comes to and pulls Maul free from the pedestal taser. Mikey arranges the triangle pieces correctly. It was actually fairly simple. No Vulcan meditation was really even needed there, but it's okay. We like seeing it. Bingo! Michael gets sucked into another odd but tranquil spot and gets to chat with an actual long-dead progenitor. Alas, it's not Salome Jins, but you can't have everything.
Yeah.
You know.
I felt that sadness myself.
Yes. Oh, Book's cautionary notes are now clear. Got to deactivate the portal. The progenitor explains that the portal is coming online to perform its primary function, the creation of new life. But alas, it cannot resurrect the dead. Sorry, Maul. She brings Locke out of his transporter buffer stasis, kisses him on the cheek, and puts him back in her little pocket. Another day, another day, my love. Maybe the audience will never see it since the series has been canceled. Sure seems like it might have been a season 6 tease, but we'll never know. Oh,
thoughts on that myself, but
okay, we're going to get to those for sure.
Oh, we're going to get to it. Yeah, we are.
Michael is worried that the progenitor tech is just another big old Genesis device, able to create life and destroy such life in favor of some new bizarre matrix. So the soft-spoken progenitor, who I had a hard time hearing at times, if I may offer an aside.
Yeah.
She pats Michael on the head, reassuring her. Check out the tunnel ahead, Michael. Pick a door or two. So great. Now the progenitor has become the galactic Monty Hall. Big reveal number 1. The progenitors didn't create this portal thingy. And we're going to get that in there somewhere, John. No, they didn't create the thingy. They just found it. Finders keepers, losers weepers. So the progenitors are just part of a cycle of creators.
I love that. That's super cool. That was very smart.
I think that's a universally like deal because it didn't pin them down. We're getting down and dirty for a moment.
Yeah.
It didn't pin them down in any way. We didn't find a race of gods.
Right.
Only they seemed as such for a time.
Right. Yeah.
And now we're following our own evolution in the 32nd century to recognize this. Very cool indeed. I agree.
Yeah.
So, in essence, all of this grand scheme of things stuff doesn't begin or end with the progenitors after all. Now, Tahal has turned tail and run. Good bluffing action, Saru. But that sneaky Primarch, she sent a cloak scout to see what's the haps ahead.
Yeah.
Well, like Blair Warner from The Facts of Life, Rayner has another one of his brilliant ideas. Remove all of the remaining Breen using the spore drive. Say what? Madness. Impossible. Well, maybe. Okay. So Professor Progenitor tells Michael that she has gotten an A+ on her test. Graduation day. A Flobo Boys plug, by the way.
Hey, buy that book. It's very good. Graduation Day by Flobo Boys.
It's excellent. Pick it up today. So Michael is now the steward of the tech. Okay. And you know what? Something we've never seen in Discovery before, to my knowledge. It is saucer separation time.
Yes.
See, we're going to position the two halves of Discovery on either side of the Breen fighter fleet. Use that and zap those suckers all barrier. That's a long way away.
A long way away.
Yes. I mean, on TOS, we got there in a weekend, like a few days, but hey, we're somewhere else now. So, okay, we'll go with it. Long and short of it is, it's going to take those Breen 20 years to come back from that location. Better than they deserve, says Rayner. But he is happy to get some kind of revenge at long last.
That was nice.
Now, once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, the progenitors were lonely folk. They were all alone in the universe, so they decided to seed all of these planets with new life. And you know what, guys? Instead of recapping this again, just go back and rewatch the chase on TNG.
I will do that because that was a great episode and I've only ever seen it once. So I will go back and watch that.
I did go back and watch this as well as something else we'll touch on later.
Yeah.
And it all fits nicely into place for better or worse.
Excellent.
So,
yeah.
What do you think, Michael? You're in charge of the tech now. What's the plan? That's a big decision for another day, and no one person should control this technology. Good for you, Mikey. Such wisdom. So the progenitor says, cool, no rush. She goes into Guardian of Forever mode and dumps about 1 billion years of history into Michael's head. So we have that really cool montage.
Yeah.
Michael grabs Maul and they hightail it to Book Shuttle. Then it's back to Disco. Hey, Saru's here. Yay. Missed you, buddy. Hugs all around. The first big hug montage for this episode, but by far not the last.
Right.
I mean, there is still a half hour of episode time left, so we're not out of this yet. Thank goodness, because we're enjoying what we're saying.
Yeah.
So, the debate: what to do with the progenitor tech? We don't need it. And in the episode's best moment, in my opinion, we already have infinite diversity and infinite combinations, especially with Discovery. Let's get real.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and if you don't believe this, John, you can always purchase a souvenir IDIC symbol on Amazon, just to cement that.
I might actually. I do love it.
Might, I mean, that was the reason, as an aside, a tidbit bonus. Yeah. This, of course, was the reason that the IDIC was created in the first place, was for sales. It was Gene Roddenberry's brainchild to work it in as a plot point, which, of course, turned out to be more true and timeless as I'm sure even he imagined at the time. So
it's so funny because I remember reading something from Leonard Nimoy about at the time, and he was like, oh God, he found this guy who's making these, pendants or whatever they were. And now there's this whole scene where he's basically doing a commercial for it. And he just hated it so much. But the message of it is so perfect for Trek. And that, all these years later, decades and decades later, it's like, it's one of the best things. So many Star Trek people have that tattooed on their body.
Yes. And how can you dispute the timeless truth of it?
Yes.
So good for you, Mikey, for realizing this at this point in evolution for all species in the 32nd century. Really, what does the tech provide other than potential disaster?
Right.
Yeah. So
that's
so as such, and they say, well, what about our higher ups? Well, come on, Rillick, Vance, and Kovich, they'll understand, and they do. So the portal is jettisoned beyond one of the black holes, gone for not forgotten.
Yeah.
Turns out, John, that the prediction we ingest stashed away alongside that, kind of after all.
Wait, give me that one back again, because you broke up a bit.
You got it. No, I'm just patting myself on the back a little bit unintentionally, having a prediction come true made in just last week that the progenitor tech was stashed away along the lines of the Lost Ark of the Covenant. So,
yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed, and it makes total sense. It's too hot. It's too hot of a potato to keep around where we can get to it too easily just yet.
Yeah, I get it.
In other words, some may see it as a cop out. Not me. It made total sense and still does.
Yeah.
So back at HQ, Maul and Book have a little chat. Turns out she's being offered a job with Kovich. Well, there's a good way to plan a plot thread for season 6 that'll never happen. Now, speaking of the mysterious Dr. Kovich, Michael pops into his office for a little powwow. First things first, everything is classified, and that is it. Kovich tells Mikey that he has lived many lives and that she is among the more he has ever encountered, but she's also one of the keep that in. You may need it again. Like in about 10 minutes when I call you on the beach and interrupt a tender moment between you and Book. But wait, says Michael. You know, who are you, Dr. Kovich? I mean, really? So she introduces herself, shaming Kovich into revealing his true identity in big reveal number 2. I'm Agent Daniels. Whoa.
What?
What?
Crazy.
What's up?
What?
You didn't see that one coming.
I really didn't see that. Hang on. What? Hey, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Okay, so number 1, it is now several weeks later for a wedding on the beach. As we knew all along, get hitched with that xenophobic Vulcan underling from the first episode introducing the Newlyweds. Okay, fine.
He's on board now.
That's a head scratcher for me. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it takes a while for the in-laws to get used to the new family member.
Good point. So a good time is being had by all at the reception, and then except Detmer trying to figure out what to do with the. Oh well. So
sorry, Joe. It broke up again. I'm sorry. It just suddenly started getting bad. What was that last one, please?
Last one. Everyone is at the reception except Detmer and Owo. Be trying to figure out this Enterprise.
Yeah.
All right, am I with you, John? Okay, it looks like I am.
You are. Yeah.
Okay.
Your picture froze, but we're still getting the audio. And now
you hear my soothing voice, right?
That's all I want. No, your picture's back too, so it's good.
Oh, good. So Saru reiterates the theme of the season. We are all in the most fundamental ways connected.
Oh,
it's hard to mock that. That is another basic truism.
That's really nice.
Now Tilly has come up with a mental time spinoff. Cool. She calls Raynor cranky, serves the curmudgeon right in stride. Michael finds Book and both are dressed to the nines. Have a minute for a chat on the beach? You betcha, baby. So Book has been cleared of all charges. Remember all that nonsense? Gone.
That's big. That's big. That's a lot that they forgave. Good for them.
Good for them. As a matter of fact, John, the future is so bright, he has to wear shades. Good for him.
Oh, I love that reference.
Yes. So what do you say, Mikey? Can I make an honest woman out of you? Only problem is my weird cat Grudge. He's part of the deal. Well, Mikey assures Book any other way. So time for what's that? It's that old fucker. E-rated. It's calling Kovich Daniels. Are you ready for another mission, guy? Or why not? Sounds like a blast. So off. A true bummer.
Sorry, Joe.
Let's see.
Joe, I'm sorry, man. It broke up again.
Backing up.
Diabolical. This is fucking diabolical. I'm sorry, I'm swearing. You keep winding up, and you're like, and now I'm going to tell you that
Oh no. And John, I resisted the word cockblocker, and here you. Why am I editing myself, John? Anyway,
okay.
Back up to we're a good spot.
Yeah.
Kovich says, "Are you guys ready for another mission?" Absolutely. Why not? Sounds like a blast. So, gang, we're off to season 6. Oh well. Fade to black, and that's a wrap. Well, not quite.
Not quite.
So after a somewhat lengthy fade to black transition, can you say tacked on epilogue, anyone? Time jump number 2, several years later. Now, obviously, this ending was tacked on, although that's not a great way to put it. A great It was tacked on at the last minute when Discovery was canceled.
Yeah.
But it's effective as the series stands. Obviously, I was quite pleased when Michael, a little bit later, would use that phrase, channeling her inner Donna Summer as a result. So in Riker and Deanna Troi, Book and Michael have retired to a remote cabin in the woods. Now there's a few gray hairs, but the couple. So after an odd bit about dissolving mothballs in Michael's coffee, okay, it's time to get on with the mini plot of this epilogue.
Right.
John, it's a big day for Michael. Book isn't tagging along this time, but he's cool with it. So a shuttle arrives. It hovers over a neat-looking landing pad shaped like the Starfleet Delta badge. Land, shuttle, land. That would look really neat. It doesn't land. Oh, well. But look who pops Leto, Starfleet captain who has followed in the footsteps of his proud mama. And now Michael is an Book comes over to have a group hug with the wifey and his boy. Captain Leto is wearing a spiffy new Starfleet uniform. Michael and her Admiral wraps itself around her. So, beam on up. The shuttle warps away. Book has a bit of a FOMO experience, meaning fear of missing out. Oh, well. And you know what? On the shuttle ride, there's some catching up to do. Tilly is still at the Academy, ensuring a very long run for the Starfleet Academy spinoff, right? Okay.
20 seasons. 20 seasons. And the
At
movie.
least. That's right. Now, Michael does offer her son some advice for his first big pep talk as captain. What is most meaningful in life, son? Why, life itself.
Oh.
Title alert. Interesting, the title only emerges in the almost afterthought epilogue, not in the episode proper.
We don't know what it was originally called.
That's right. That's right. It's the episode title probably said, "Great job, gang! Off to season 6 now." That's what the episode was. That was the original title. So, after some touching reflection about her Discovery family, Leto drops his mom off at the USS Discovery in space. A thing of beauty, marvels Michael. So, Disco is getting the A removed from its registry. Okay.
That was
the ship is being retconned back to its original state for its final mission.
Yeah.
You see, it's time to connect some inconsistent continuity. Got to make this Discovery finale fit with the short trek Calypso. Many thoughts on that to come.
Yep.
So, if you need, go back and rewatch that short trek. I sure did.
Yeah.
On board, Admiral Burnham greets Zora. The AI has missed Mikey and has been feeling lonely. Oh boy, Zora, just wait until you find out how long you're going to be gone this time. So the final Discovery mission, whether Zora chooses it to accept it or not, take the ship into deep space, park, and wait. And wait. And wait some more.
How do you drive
possibly
a
for
computer?
Something?
How do you drive a computer crazy? This is how you drive a computer crazy. I'm sorry. Please continue, sir.
That was a nugget of knowledge and wisdom we needed at that point, John. Thank you very much. And Craig has a thought.
You just brought up another Tony Stark reference, the Admiral Quick Change, much like the slick Iron Man suit change in Infinity War. Totally.
That's a good observation. It missed me. I thought of something else, which I'll get to in tidbits, but that's a great observation, Craig. Thank you.
Nice.
So, you know what? Zora said, there's a vague reference to something or someone called craft. Oh. Now, it should only take about a millennium or so for this craft to show up. Until then, Zora, just enjoy some good old Fred Astaire and Betty Boop movies,
Just have fun playing your solitaire program for 1,000 years.
For 1,000 years. So Michael reflects, it's been a hell of a journey. Time for one more. She sits in the captain's chair for the final, most effective montage, and group hugs play out. Michael is a young girl again on the bridge with her disco family, enjoying what appears to be a rap party. Everyone is there, even Detmer, Olo, and Bryce.
Finally.
Hail, hail, the gang's all here. Finally. So, John, older Burnham stops daydreaming. Time to get underway for Disco's final mission, at least for 1,000 years. Discovery exits space dock. All kinds of other ships and shuttles at HQ fall in line as an honor guard to their departing comrade. Zora says, Admiral, I'd be grateful if you gave the word. So for one last time, she orders, let's fly. Cue music and credits. Wipe away a tear. And it comes to a thoroughly moving and satisfying end. My only regret, John, I never got a chance to do my best Poncho impression and make a bad disco kid pun. Oh, disco. Oh, wait, I think I just did.
Oh my God. Okay, first off, let me make the third Avengers reference of the show so far and go, I got that one. I got that reference.
Oh, good.
That's that great moment with suddenly we're not in Kansas anymore, and Captain America's like, I got that. You made a pop culture reference that I actually got.
That could have been a promo ad art.
let's take a quick moment to tell you about a very important aspect of our show, and that is the JoeTownsell.com. It's brought to you by Joe Townsell. And Joe Townsell is brought to you by Starbase 80's Disco. Yes. But head on over to JoeTownsell.com. You're going to find all kinds of things that Joe has put on the website, and you're going to come across his writing. He's a fantastic science fiction writer, a fantastic horror writer, and really a master of genre. So, this music, by the way, is not Joe's fault. This is my music that I made him use.
Oh yeah, twist my arm. it's wonderful. I love what you and AI have done for me as far as music and other things. Thank you, John, and thank you once again for promoting JoeTownsell.com.
You are very welcome, my friend. We have gone through so many beats because my goodness, this was literally a show and a half. And now it's time for us to talk about stuff. It is time to get down and dirty. Let's talk about the details, because the devil is in the details. And my goodness, so many details in this show. First off, going back in order, how did you feel, Joe, about this being the end of the big mystery? You know, the big galaxy hopping, stars spanning mystery, and it ends in a sort of limbo kind of a place. And she sort of talks to, I don't know, when she was talking to the progenitor, is she talking to a projection? Is she talking to some kind of ghost? Is she talking to the living being? Like, I didn't quite get that.
Oh, any and all are possible, John, in my opinion. I think another possibility would be that we're looking at living outside of linear time progenitor, perhaps.
Right. Yeah, I got that feeling too. Yeah.
It could also be a progenitor that has the special Jor-El from Krypton programming where she's able to communicate with people that live long after she's expired, but
that's exactly what I was thinking. You put it into words for me, but it was like, wait, is this like Man of Steel where it's like the computer does the talking? On the other hand, we do find that they are from another dimension, correct?
Yes. And again, I mean, they've been all over, and our little corner of the galaxy is just travels, as we found out.
Yeah. So, okay, that's kind of cool. Oh, I've got a question. I'm jumping to the end now. So so Burnham is on Discovery. Discovery goes way out to that remote place where it's going to sit, where it eventually will be encountered by Kraft, the
Yes.
guy who boards the future Discovery. How does Michael get back?
I assume she has that shuttle on board. I
Okay.
hope.
I mean, it's a long way out, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. It's warp capable. I mean,
okay. All right. Sure. I mean, I have to keep remembering 32nd century. 32nd century is the time that we're in. And actually, I can't even remember what year or what era Calypso takes place in, but it is in the future. It's
well, I'll clear that for you right now, John, because after we walk and knowing Discovery ended up in the 32nd century, Calypso is in at least the 42nd century.
Oh, you're kidding!
Because it sits for 1,000 years.
Oh my gosh! I keep forgetting what a millennia is. I keep forgetting it's 1,000. It's not 100. I keep forgetting. That's exactly who I am in the Starfleet. I'm a guy's like, oh yeah, right. There's a difference between a century and a millennia. Anyway, you guys go on. What were you saying?
Well, my thing too is that I got the impression that Michael taking Zora and Discovery to this special spot was largely ceremonial. Her presence wasn't required.
Yeah.
I mean, by that time, even in the or so years, since we last saw her, it's possible they mean technology. They can zap her back instantly just using a transporter.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's quite wild. Craig put this up. John, I understand you're a wrestling guy. That was quite the spear to Burnham from Breen Lesnar. I love the fighting. It has followed in Discovery, especially. It has followed the pattern that so much on-screen fighting has followed in the past 10, 15 years, which is it's mostly done by women. Which is wild, but I do love seeing women stunt fighters, just like I like seeing women wrestlers. I do. And also I was watching a little bit of Ready Room, and Sonequa Martin Green was like, I love the fighting. And the girl who plays Maul, and I wish I could just pull her name out of my head.
Eve Harlow, John.
Okay, she's in this thing too, and she's like, I showed up on day one for stunt fighting, and I was like, I hope he understands I have no idea how to do any of this. And I'm like, oh, baby girl, you were born to do this.
Absolutely. And in the term, I share your enthusiasm, John. I have one comment to make on both our behalf.
Yes.
Rare.
I mean, I think that's why we're here as a culture, because I think us guys are like, no, it's pretty hot. No, it's pretty and I think for women watching it, or anyone who's doesn't identify as male, we'll put it that way, I think that person can look at it and go, yeah, empowerment, two-fisted, taking action, making the change physically, putting your life on the line, because that's the story of on-screen fighting. And let's face it, it's a great Star Trek tradition. The on-screen battle goes all the way back to the original series.
Cuffs, drop kicks. I mean, definitely saw a few Capt'n.
Yeah. This is the double axe handle. That's what it's called in the wrestling ring. Craig, I was actually a professional wrestler from the year 2002 to 2012. I was a professional wrestler. Just wanted to throw that. Flobo knew that. Flobo knew, but he didn't tell a lot of people. This was a great point that Craig made earlier, and I've been saving it. I thought Burnham was going to say all her goodbyes and then stay in the machine. A good sidestep and a reminder of Janeway destroying the caretaker. I was a little crestfallen that didn't happen. And I realized immediately why I wanted that to happen. Because that's what happened to Captain Sisko.
Yes.
At the end, our hero goes away on this god level, kind of existence to learn, to go study, to go to, space college. And I would have been okay with that, but I have to say, and Craig, I don't know if you feel this way, and Joe, tell me how you feel. I like the happily ever after with Book, and they have a son, and their son goes into Starfleet, and he becomes a captain, and he's a great looking kid, and his name is Leto, which is the name of Book's nephew, who died so young.
There's a tidbit I didn't catch.
Oh, really? Oh, I came up with a tidbit the Council didn't find.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing. I never do that. But I wondered because I was like, Leto, they didn't name him after the worst Joker, did they? No, they didn't name him after Jared Leto. No. Different Leto, better Leto, good Leto.
No, Joe, I think we can agree that, I mean, I have a healthy dose of cynicism, I believe. I've been a little critical of certain cloying emotional developments, but you know what? You have to really have ice water in your veins not to appreciate how this ended. Let's remember also, John and Craig, this was not intended to be a series finale.
That's true.
I mean, the ending to which you described, which would have been very interesting to see, would have required a lot more reshooting and a lot more expense and hassle, if that's the word, to make happen versus what they did.
Well, and I also got, I don't know any hard dates here, but I got the impression from how they were talking on Ready Room that the strike had really broken up how they were going to do things.
Right.
And that it contributed heavily to this being the final season. Which is nobody's fault. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, you broke up for me for a moment, so I thought there was a pause.
Right on.
But at any rate, I mean, my big comment here is that for this to have never been intended to be a series finale, boy, it sure played out to be one of the best. I would put it behind only All Good Things and What We Leave Behind.
That is a great, that's a fantastic statement. I totally sign on with that. This was a really good goodbye episode. I may not agree with all the details, but the tone was great.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, this is crazy, but as I grow older and I just get used to looking at my face and how I'm aging, and then I think about the age makeup that they used to do on like the original series, we'll say. I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's the one where they're growing older and
the deadly years.
The deadly years. And they're all doing their best to kind of do a version of what it would look like for them to be older, except DeForest Kelley. And I love DeForest Kelley, but he becomes more Southern. Adrenaline, and he becomes like Dana Carvey's, mean old man character. But on this episode, the aging that they did to Book and to Burnham was really great, like down to the skin tone, down to like the age spots and stuff, like. And I also love that kind of like beautiful look that they give Sonequa Martin Green, where I'm like, oh, hello, Angela Lansbury, come on through. That's not who I'm saying. Oh gosh. The woman from Vampire in Brooklyn, Angela Bassett.
Oh, I definitely thought, wow, she looks like Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett, especially from like Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Well, Well, good for you, Mr. Green. You married a beautiful woman. She's gonna age amazingly. Everybody ages amazingly. Don't listen to me. So yeah, I mean, look, there's not a lot to really be mad about. I'm not like mad at anything. Oh, this is so funny. Craig says at the very start of the scene, I actually wondered if it was Burnham's mom. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, great age makeup. Holy cow. You just don't really get that. But they, as Joe said, they really spent their budget. And when you think about it, that extra 20 minutes
right.
at the end of this episode, I think they were kind of fresh when they did that. I think they had put almost everything into the can. Then there was the strike. Then there was the, I think, I could be wrong. And then there was the decision that this is it. This is the final episode. And so everything is very lovingly done at the end there. And I won't lie to you. I have to tell you the truth. When I watched what I knew was the original episode, I then took a break. I then stopped watching for a couple of days. And I came back and I watched that last segment. I watched that last like 20 minutes or so separately. Which I stand by. It wasn't a bad way of doing it because I really did have that feeling, Joe, of the point you made, which was this is a great way to end a big Star Trek storyline. You come to a Star Trek solution, which is I look around, I take in all the lives around me, and I realize that we don't have anything we need this technology for, that our infinite diversity is here. And it's in us, and it's in each other. And that's very Star Trek. I love that.
It's very Star Trek. The comment I was going to make, excuse me, is that I think for the first time this season, Discovery as a series lived up to its name.
Yes.
We discovered wondrous new things.
Yeah.
Both within and without.
Yeah.
About being, about who we are and where we're heading. And wow, leave it to Star Trek, just like with Enterprise, for example, to come into its own as it's wrapping up. But hey, I'm glad we had a wonderful final 5th season. And what can I say? Now, of course, there are things to pick apart, and we're going to definitely do that, I think. John, I know you have some thoughts.
It's tough to think of them right now because I've been put in such a positive mood by everything we've been saying for the last 10 minutes or so. Do you want to jump in there?
Well, allow me to dampen the mood, John.
All right. Please rain on this parade.
No, the LP really, in my opinion, unnecessary retconning to make the ending work called Calypso. It made little logical sense.
Yeah.
To scrub the A off because we got an establishing shot of the Discovery in that earlier short trek.
Yeah.
Plus, it made me wonder too, if you look at the saucer, it isn't like DC-1031 off centered again, as if the A was never there.
Right.
Again, that's just a silly joke, but I mean, they could have just as easily retconned Calypso. If you watch it again, there's one establishing shot of the registry number in that short trek.
Yeah.
Just take that out. And actually, most of us Trek fans knew there were inconsistencies.
Yes.
We have accepted them.
Yeah.
As I pointed out to you before we went on, was it necessary way back when to explain the different look of the Klingons? No.
Right.
Trust your audience's imagination. Know that, yes, there's a couple of continuity gaps here and there.
Yeah.
So it made for a little bit of an unnecessary awkward deal. But I will say on a positive note that the underlying little mini story there was very gratifying. And you know what? Delving a bit into prediction territory, because yes, final episode or not, there will be a prediction or two.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what? It leaves the door way open for, okay, now what?
Yeah.
I mean, Zora in the 42nd century is still sitting there waiting for something, but how relevant is Kraft? I mean, he just seemed to be some guy that wandered over there one day, and now we're aware of his existence 1,000 years ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah.
It poses new questions which beg addressing. And you know what? In true Star Trek tradition, that's a good thing too.
Yes, I mean, let's face it. The story of Discovery, to try to do it as quickly as possible, is that we start 10 years before the 5-year mission of Kirk and Spock and Dr. McCoy, right?
That's correct.
It's about a decade before. And I just got the feeling from the show that they were walking on eggshells trying to stay within an established continuity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's especially hard for how this show was. There's a great line in there's a great line in the Ready Room from Will Wheaton, and he's talking to the showrunner. I believe Michelle Paradise is her name. Do you have it right here? Yeah, and she's very cool. I like her, and she was saying something about it being, she was saying like in this season, there's like world shaking. A world-shaking ordeal, and that the stakes, have never been higher. And Will Wheaton goes, "Well, that's all of Star Trek Discovery, honestly." It's true, and it can be, for some of us, it can be exhausting, especially when we're used to, like, as we call them, the bottle episodes, the episodes that just exist on their own, or even like the throwaway episodes, the self-sealing stem bolts of DS9, the little episodes, the things that take us into a corner of the universe, and we're not always at the center with a ticking time bomb beside us with no idea how to dismantle it. So yeah, it's been a tough series because they've done, as we've observed the whole time, they've done fewer than the standard 28 episodes, 26 episodes that might happen in a season of Star Trek. And we've been doing 10, and every episode's got a freaking count.
Yes.
So it's a different kind of show for that reason. I actually can't even remember how I got on this tangent, but I will say it's very true to this show that everything had to be big, big, big. I do appreciate how big this final episode and story was, even though it was just supposed to be a season 5 finale. Season 5 finale, and there would be a season 6 when they were making it, which is funny, Joe, because you were telling me that the whole time, and I was going like, I'm not sure that's true. No, I actually heard Michelle Paradise say it, so I know it's true.
Oh, well, good to have the confirmation. And you know what? I mean, I think it's safe to say that we'll save a series retrospect for another time. But having said that, this season was a really a great blend of advancing the story arc while at the same time going back to Star Trek's roots and truly exploring some strange new worlds.
Yeah. Yes.
I think we saw more planets this season than in the combined total of Discovery.
It was a nice tour, it was a lovely sampler of this universe. When you talk about universe building, which writers like Joe Townsend talk about all the time, it's a lot of work. It's a balance, and it's a juggling act, and the best can do it. And so I appreciate that. They have reminded me of why they are what they are, and that no one else can really do what they do. Not as well.
Exactly.
I'll show my love for the Orville some other time. It's fine. And I do love actually that they embrace the sort of episodic storytelling and that sort of thing. But yeah, this has got to be big, and they did a nice job of doing that.
I think so too, and it reminds me of how very DX, again, with their ongoing and sometimes arc-long Dominion storylines, while still retaining the flavor of something new.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that too. That yes, the universe is out there, but it's always going to be out there. You still have to you still have to have tough conversations. You still have to have a bad day. You still have to, solve the little fire that's in front of you. Put that fire out even though there's a fire, in the Delta quadrant,
That's a great analogy, John.
Well, I'm Captain for a reason.
Yes. And I got you. I mean, I appreciate Will Wheaton's little joke there, but I think the primary difference is that season 5 paid off in a I did not find it the least bit anticlimactic, logical conclusion with Michael's decision to shelve the tech.
Yeah.
Unlike the burn. Oh,
the burn.
And it took us 13 episodes to get to that one.
Oh, I know.
So good job, season 5. I will say, no hesitation.
Well, Craig has given us an hour, and Craig, we thank you so much. He's going to go crash. As the great Vinnie Jones said, it's been emotional. Will you be doing a wrap-up show? Craig, not only do we plan on doing a wrap-up show at some point, but we are totally going to do it with Flobo Boys, who got us started through Star Trek Discovery. So, yes, we will let you know when that happens, and it's all Admiral Boyce's choice at this point.
Yes, count on it, Craig. And it all started, John, as we all know, it all started with Commander's Log, with Flobo Boys, and here we are.
Here we are. I remember saying to him, like, dude, I can't believe you've got an animated beginning and you've got music. And he's like, I just found this stuff for free on the internet. It's not that hard, John. It's the kind of stuff that we love now. As a matter of fact, let's go to MVPs. And we could be talking about MVPs for this episode. We could be talking about MVPs for the season. How are you feeling about MVPs, Joe? Most
I hope this isn't a cop-out. I sincerely mean it.
Yeah.
I refuse to pick. To me, it's a multi-way tie. Burnham, Saru, Rayner, everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not the minor characters that popped in and out and didn't do a whole lot, I grant you. But really, I mean, everybody contributed in this episode.
Yeah.
To this resolution.
Yeah.
I guess Michael would have to be the standout if you had to pick, but I'm gonna give it to at least the big guns for this one.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna be an absolute jerk about this. So get ready to scoff, because honestly, I would scoff if I heard someone say this. I'm gonna go with Michelle Paradise.
I don't think that's scoffable at all.
I didn't realize she was the showrunner. Now, it's very tough to be the executive producer who comes in after very big, powerful executive producers. The hard act to follow thing is very true, especially when you're running a show. And it's entirely possible. I don't want to say it's true. I hope it's not, but it's entirely possible that she was given the show and the network was already like, we've given up on this show. So good luck. Have a great last year, but we don't want to see the show continue. And it's hard to go to work when people are saying stuff like that.
Well, sure. But it can also, for the right creative talent, though, that could be a huge motivation and incentive.
And that is a great way to go. That is how you prove your mettle. Because if you can produce under the worst circumstances and make a great looking, great feeling show, like this episode, frankly, then you've done a really good job. And I love that she actually appears in this episode. She doesn't appear. You hear her. Did you know this?
John, I was not.
Sorry, you froze.
I was saying tidbit number 2, of which I was not.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
Yes.
So, you know what? Let's not wait. Let's get straight into the tidbit. Yeah. So, Michelle Paradise. I got it here. It's here. It's here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, God, I can't remember. I know it's here. All right. She is heard as the shuttle pilot who shows up to beam her aboard. Actually, the shuttle pilot who brings oh my God, I can't believe I'm not finding this. It's here. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and edit this out.
Are you referring to their son Leto picking her up? And
no, actually, is it Michelle Paradise as Starfleet officer, voice only? And I'm like so excited. I'm just skipping through things. Okay, here we go. Executive producer and co-showrunner Michelle Paradise has a voiceover cameo role in this episode as the Starfleet officer who informs Admiral Burnham about the shuttle arriving to pick her up.
that's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a one sentence, easy to miss it. So good for you, John.
Hey man, give the credit to memoryalpha.com.
Well, good for you for finding it there. And I do want to make
yeah.
Oh, please. No, I was just gonna say I can't, obviously resist one last joke in predictions.
Yeah.
So going back to that for just a moment, especially with your comments about the great Michelle Paradise, all and their cast and crew, it tells us one thing.
Yeah.
It takes a village, people. Now, this is a shameless plug for tomorrow's
yeah.
Retro Rangers. So there you go.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Quick message about this. Your pals John and Joe, they're just a couple of old straight fellas. Just, raised Christian, couple of white boys, just growing up in America in the 60s and the 70s. And it's so obvious to us now how connected everybody is. Speaking of the
Yes.
Star Trek, ethos. And so on our show, Retro Rangers, we were like, should we do something about pride? I don't know, maybe not. And then, just things just kept turning up. The fact that so many of our viewers are from the LGBTQ plus community. The fact that some of our favorite actors and performers were gay people who were working at a very hard time to be out. And some of our heroes never came out of the closet, even though we will be including them on the show. We will have a clip of the Village People. I managed to get that. Actually, a clip from Can't Stop the Music. And it is so good, dude. It is so good. I was really happy the copyrights allowed us to use it. So yeah, join us tomorrow. It's going to be 7 p.m. Here on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the Beast Coast. And we are going to have Stevie Arviso, the beautiful Stevie, will be with us. One of our greatest wisecrackers, one of our greatest commentators. So it's going to be a great show, and we're really looking forward to it. And I have to say, Joe, when I put up our ad yesterday, and I put it up late, sorry about that. But when I got our ad up, I was like, oh man, I hope we don't take a lot of heat for people going, oh, everybody wants to celebrate Pride, and look at you guys, you're not even queer on any level, and you want to celebrate Pride, and blah blah blah. And I really thought that, like, gay people would be like, oh, God, co-opting our 1 month of visibility and celebration. And it's the exact opposite. I have gotten so many people saying thank you, and so many people saying they're looking forward to the show and that they love us for doing this. And I'll share the messages with you later, Joe. But it's just
Sure,
been
great.
so great. Of course, Joe's poster is so amazing too.
Well, thank you. But John, I think what you're saying, and is that yes, we're celebrating Pride with our show, but more importantly, we're celebrating people.
We're celebrating people that meant a lot to us and mean a lot to us. And
Absolutely. I mean, I've got a great story to tell. I'm looking forward to that as far as one of the performers we'll be seeing. And with Stevie on board, it's going to be a great show. Just as always on Retro Rangers, full of great fun, entertaining segments. So please join us tomorrow.
We really do love Edic. We really do love infinite diversity in infinite combinations. We really do love that. And take it from a couple of old straight white guys. We've gotten to the age where we understand how great that is. And how it is its own reward that we are all together in this.
Absolutely.
So happy Pride Month. Whether you are of the community or not, we can all be happy for our friends. We can all be supportive for the joy that this month brings to our friends and their community. And that's why we do this. So,
all right. Yes, absolutely. And to everybody who's on board. Absolutely.
Did we already do? Did I already introduce tidbits?
We haven't gotten into the tidbits. We had John's tidbits. I guess now it's time for Townsend's tidbits.
Oh, give us some of those Townsend tidbits. Those are
we got a few of them.
You are the dessert course, my friend.
Oh, thank you, sir. We do have a few. I think you'll enjoy. As we established, I mean, at nearly 90, it's one of the longest single trick ever. Now, there is a possible continuity error.
Okay.
Dr. Kovich, as Agent Daniels, says he visited the USS Enterprise, clearly referencing Archer. Well, that ship was not the USS Enterprise.
Right. I'm sorry, you broke up. So start that.
I'll just start that one again.
Yeah.
Possible continuity error. Dr. Kovich tells us that he, as Agent Daniels, visited the quote USS Enterprise, and referring to the Jonathan Archer NX-01 vessel.
Yes, NX-01. Yeah,
Enterprise. This was just the Enterprise,
right?
However, he may have been referring to because he has Geordi's visor, he has Cisco's baseball,
right?
Among the other collectibles he has is a Dustbuster phaser. It's on the shelf.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes. And I'm sorry, I did take the effort to zoom in on a frozen screen.
Yeah.
In his possession, he does have a bottle of Shage 2249. So there you go.
Yes. Yes. Now, let's tackle this because Daniels, played by a very different looking actor.
Yes.
And during what I always considered, and I think this means that we're going to have to cover this in the future, Joe, on Retro Trekkers.
There's a dropped reference that's new for you.
Have we not introduced the audience to that idea yet?
We have not, so we just did, and stay tuned, gang. Coming soon.
It's something that we always talked about on the old show. Of course, the old show was called Starbase 80, and we're changing that branding now because we don't want to get in trouble with the intellectual property owners. But the temporal wars. There's plenty of references, especially through Kovich, so that's consistent. That's cool.
Yes.
Lots of references to temporal wars, and really it did, as Joe says, it did start in the show Enterprise. the only Star Trek show that doesn't have the words Star Trek at the beginning of it, I believe.
At least for the first 2 seasons.
Oh, and did they add it?
Oh yeah, season 3 they added Star Trek to the title.
Dude, I didn't even remember that. That's Townsend's got the tidbits like in a t-shirt cannon. He's shooting them into the crowd. So, yeah, I mean, that was really cool that they kind of closed that up. But I do have to say, I would have been fine if Kovich was just Kovich. You didn't have to tie it into the first show in the sequential history. But okay, I don't hate that they did that, because again, Kovich does have a big relationship to the temporal wars. And I think you're right, Joe. I think he skipped around.
Oh, sure.
So
I mean, obviously he was talking about Archer's Enterprise, but you know what?
Yeah.
Could have just taken the USS out of the dialogue and made it work, but either way, we'll take it.
I'm shocked no one caught that.
Yeah. And, you know, let's keep in mind, this, among many other things in this episode, scream at me as far as being this is season 6 seating. You know, Maul's going to go work for him as some kind of protege, just like Kobe Butcher at the end of Picard season 2, apparently.
Oh.
And you know, we would have had more, but alas, we won't. I just have to imagine that.
Well, now that's so funny, because I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right that they were setting up season 6, but that's not what I thought. I thought they were setting up section 31.
Oh, good point.
Now, maybe not, because maybe they're working on section 31 right now, or it's wrapped. I'm not sure where they are.
Section 31, as far as the TV movie they finally arrived at, has wrapped production.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably not going to have Maul in it.
Well, I mean, it's something they just did.
Yeah.
There could be a bigger plan in place that would involve her. So I don't think that's off the table. I think that's, you know, a pseudo prediction, let's put it that way.
If I had to sit here and go, what do I think's going to happen with the future of section 31? I think they're going to have the God, what was Jessica Alba's show? Was it Dark Angel?
Oh, Dark Angel.
Yeah, I think they're going to have that, you know, the ass kicking girl. I think they are, and I think that's going to be Maul. And I have to say, I really came to like the actress. She's complicated, and I like that. She's not just doing soap opera acting. This is a good, interesting actor. So I wouldn't kick if they were going to bring her back, and she's carrying this burden of the guy she loves is in this teeny tiny buffer, this little transporter buffer. I get it, I totally get it. So that could work. Just unfortunately they've already done that story with Dr. Mbenga and his daughter, but whatever.
Well, as far as a technique or technology, I mean, Scotty did it before Mbenga did.
That's true. I mean, this it doesn't have to be a Simpsons did it. It doesn't have to be one of those. But it's interesting. It's interesting, and motivates the character. And I like how they went with Maul. I actually really like Locke and Maul.
Well, same here. And we should clarify, or I should. I keep saying, well, we're not going to see that. Well, I should say that we're not going to see that in a season 6 of Discovery. Things that have started here are very, very possibly will get continued elsewhere.
I hope so. I mean, look, we are talking a little bit outside of this episode to say this, but we have had lots of discussion about how we want to see the new Star Treks roll out now that the purchase of Paramount is done. And all of that. I got the impression, I am under the impression that they were wrapping everything up because the new owners were going to have their own way of doing Star Trek.
Right.
And that it was going to be too much of a fight to try to preserve what was going on at Paramount with new owners and new suits in the corner offices saying no to things that are very important. So I get that. And that's business, and business is what's required to pay for these expensive shows. So God bless. But yeah, I hope they take advantage of that. And I'd heard, I saw somebody say this in a comment section. Terry Metalis is no longer with Paramount.
I don't know if that's true. He is the showrunner for, oh goodness, he's the showrunner for something else.
Oh,
Paramount.
at
The
Paramount.
conclusion people are coming to is that he's gone.
Yeah.
When these series across the board produce 10 or 11 or 12 episodes a season, he could conceivably do both.
No, that's true.
So I'm not writing him out just yet, but that was the big news, is that he is the showrunner for, and again, I apologize for not having it at the tip of my Townsville tidbit tongue, but but he has another gig, and that's what people are speculating. Is he going to be involved with Trek anymore?
Yeah. The rumor I heard, and I'll just say it was a rumor, was that he was working for Disney.
It is a Disney series. I didn't remember which one.
Oh, shoot. Wow. Well, I mean, I love the guy. He did great work on Picard, turning Picard into something that I really enjoyed. And I love his sensibility. But it doesn't look like we're going to be basing our stuff off him. Though, I would just say, I got nothing against Michelle Paradise.
And there's lots of talent out there yet to be discovered or utilized in this universe.
Absolutely. And there are people who love Star Trek, and that is one of the things about Paradise that I love. She loves Star Trek. She wrote this final episode, co-wrote, and I think did a really nice job covering so many bases and settling a show that was not ready to be retired. She did a nice job making it ready to be retired. So that's cool.
A combined bit / pseudo prediction, as I've dubbed them.
Yes.
Let's just have and Maul, I'm on Earth. Some, shall we?
I'm sorry you broke up. You broke up again.
Oh no.
Nice setup, and then it broke up. Yep. Once again.
I'm hoping for a Kovich and Maul assignment Earth type scenario.
Oh, hell. Count me in. Count me the hell in on that. That sounds like fun. I love Cronenberg. I love Cronenberg's films. Joe, you must have been influenced by David Cronenberg at some point in your life, because your horror, I can see him enjoying reading your horror stories.
Well, that is high praise, John. Thank you so much. I would hope so. And yes, of course. I mean, from his very avant-garde experimental stuff as far back as like Scanners, all the way up to his more marketable things like The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Everything in between. I mean, the guy's a master. And having him as part of the Trek universe as Kovich has been a real treat. And if we're lucky, he'll continue in some form.
I hope so. He's got a great tone that is not overly friendly, and it just makes things really interesting in terms of Trek. Anything else you wanted to cover, Mr. Townsend?
Let's just rattle off a few stats just for entertainment purposes. Well, as we saw, Book was late to the wedding because he bumped into some Talaxian pirates, and admit it, John, you and Flobo miss Neelix, don't you? Of course you do. Especially Flobo. I know he does.
Talaxian pirates. Good Lord.
Well, Neelix himself was much more than a pirate when they found him. So,
well, that's true. That's true.
Now, some of this is speculation, but I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
Some of it's my own. Some of it comes from elsewhere. But, some of the planets accessible via the portal gateways, based on some brief glimpses of their environments, well, they seem to include, for example, Iconia, Galordan Core, Viridian 3, Rurapenthe, Risa, among others.
Oh, wow.
And, John, if I'm not mistaken, I think Michael and Maul throw their final fisticuffs over there on Shakari from Star Trek V. Sure looks the same to me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that was very inhospitable uh, a very inhospitable area. Yeah, that could be. That could very
Well, with
well.
the same kind of over it to make it look a certain way, and
Yeah.
I just struck. If it wasn't the intention, I'm going to make it so.
Yeah. Hey, head canon. That's what I believe.
Exactly. Hey, John, the opening credits this episode provide images from the entire series, including pictures of the Red Angel, Klingon weapons, old style communicator and insignia, among many others.
Yeah.
Now, the whole plan to ignite the plasma is lifted directly from Riker's thought process in Star Trek Insurrection.
Oh, that's great.
Starbase One makes a very brief appearance.
Yeah.
In the epilogue, there are new Starfleet uniforms in Burnham's golden years. Her Admiral uniform looks very similar to the dress uniforms shown in Strange New World Season 2.
Nice.
When Una went on trial. That's okay.
Yeah.
Tig Notaro and Wilson Cruz were not available, apparently, for the new scenes in the epilogue, so they were digitally inserted. So they'd be included in the party.
That's so funny because the scene where Burnham and Jet Reno are talking, I'm like, that looks weird. Why does that look weird?
a little Joe Townsend Photoshop insertion, maybe.
Nice. Whose head?
And the last tidbit I have is I'm sorry, John. Please continue.
Oh no, I was just saying, and actually I said it wrong. Whose body did you put Reno's head on?
I think they went with the whole body shot with her, fortunately.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And you know what? I think this is the perfect final tidbit for this series because it's such a time-honored one. The registry on Leto's shuttle was UFP 47. Now, the number 47 has been used many times in all of Trek lore as an in-joke. So every time you're watching a Trek rerun, listen for a reference to 47.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow. Nice little bookend then.
Thank you, sir. You know what? There's much more, but my goodness. I mean, we could spend the whole episode just going over tidbits and little details like that. And, like the conversation, I think we've already pretty much confirmed is not over just yet.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely not. There's still a lot to talk about. And frankly, it was so funny too, because I'm watching the very last few minutes of Life Itself, the final episode of Star Trek Discovery. And then for the first time ever, I went, you could always go back and rewatch this series.
Yes.
For some reason, it never occurred to me before. But it's like, no, I could go back and rewatch. I haven't rewatched any of these shows except for the pilot, I think.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, John, in just that way, because one thing I've always kind of attached to the quality of any of these shows is the rewatchability. And some of it, you watch it one and done, you never go back. Right. I liken to the last episode and a half of Picard season 3. I have gone back and watched them and the Enterprise D about I've already seen about if it brings to relive those special, then it was industry was a extremely successful season and a very successful notice how I stammer on it. Sees a series finale. So,
folks, we have put in a good hour and a half almost. But have we played this for you? No, we haven't.
We have complete without it.
Of the fire is blistering. The wolf outside is whispering. They're terrible lyrics. No, I love them.
But strangely, apropos, John.
It's terrible. And then this part, the AI did all by itself.
Thank you, AI, because I will.
Joe will hook you up. Go visit him over at joetownsend.com. I still have to finish that song for you so that we can make the video for it.
It's in my
I've
hands
got
right
time.
now, so we're definitely gonna get that full length version for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah.
And John, again, thank you for taking the time and effort. I know you're assisted by AI, but no AI is an island either. It does take a village, people.
It does, and what a perfect note to end the show on. Join us tomorrow when we will be joined by our good friend Stevie Arviso, the amoral crackpot. I don't think there's a the. Stevie Arviso, she is amoral crackpot on Instagram, and you should check out her stuff on Instagram. She writes comedy every single day. She does graphics, she does jokes, she does it all. Check out what Stevie's got, and check her out on our show, 7 p.m. here on the Best Coast and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And that is the next time you are going to see Captain John and Commander Joe. Mr. Townsell, how would you like to say goodbye on this very last episode of Starbase 80 Disco Nights?
I will say goodbye by thanking you, John, right at the top, for the your faith in me and working with me, your ongoing kind words and collaboration. I love it. It's great fun. I will thank also, I'm not accepting an Oscar, folks, I promise, but I will thank also our faithful viewers and followers. Without all the combined elements of what we do, it wouldn't be as much fun. It would still be a great time, but with everything we got going for us in terms of what we do, the two of us and the people that follow us and appear with us, it's just a great time and a great viewing experience. So please, let's keep it going and growing. There's much to come.
So check out our upcoming show. We will be retro trekkers as well as retro rangers, and I can't wait. It's going to be fun. We're going to go back to the old format of we're going to pick a Star Trek show and we're going to talk about it. And we've learned so much doing this show that I know it's going to inform and make better our regular Star Trek show. And I'm very excited it's coming back under a new name. Now we will be SB-80 Retro Trekkers, and we will no longer be Starbase 80, because I always felt like I was stealing when I was using Starbase 80 as the name of the show. I was always waiting for the Men in Black to come knocking on my door and flash that thing, and I would forget all about Star Trek. I don't.
But you know what? This is a great way to retire the longer version of our brand. So, yeah, Starbase 80. It's been wonderful, and we look forward to coming back again and again as SB-80.
Folks, thank you so much, and that's gonna do it. We dance off into the sunset.
Yes, we do.
Got to find a way to bring this song back too.
Oh, you will.
There'll be a way. There'll be a way to bring it back, right? Thank you, Joe. We'll see you tomorrow, my friend. And thank you. Keep an eye on us. Keep an eye on SB-80 and come by Retro Rangers. We would love to